Hello and welcome to Ben Academy. In this video, I want to teach you 5 useful but basic tips in Excel to arrange your data. Let's get started. I'll show you what these important 5 tips. Suppose we have a table like this. The first problem you can see visibly here is that the widths of the cells are not sufficient to include the whole numbers, whole the digits of the values in some of the columns. For example, here you can see none of the values are placed truly in the column H, and if you point mouse on them, you can see that the real value can be visible after pointing the mouse on the cell. But you can see here that the number of digits, the number of decimals here are more than enough. You may not need too many decimals here, and you can reduce the number of decimals. So the first tip here is to reduce the number of decimals, or in some cases to increase the number of decimals. For example, in column G, you can see that the values are rounded. The real value is 3.72, but it's rounded to 4. You may need at least 1 digit as a decimal in these values. To change the number of decimals for whole the values of the table, to have a unique and uniform visual scheme for whole the table, you should select whole the values by selecting a corner of the table and pressing Ctrl-Shift right and then down. You can select whole the values in the table, and then in the Home tab, in the number section, you can decrease or increase the number of decimals like this. Now I'm decreasing the number of decimals, and with another icon, you can increase the number of decimals. Usually 1 or 2 decimals is sufficient. In this table, I prefer 1 decimal for these numbers. After changing the number of decimals, you can see that there is still some problems with some values, and some values are more than the widths of the column. For this case, you should change the widths of the column. The first thing you may guess is to increasing the width of the cell by right-click and selecting column widths and writing a number greater than its current width. For example, 9. You can see that for this column it's okay. For another column, you can also increase it to the same value as 9. It's not resolved yet. You can again do it many times, but it's not the solution. Another person may say that, yeah, we can increase the width of the cell, width of the column by dragging the edge between these two columns like this. But you don't know how much is sufficient to drag. You may try many cases to understand that, yes, it could be enough here. The solution and the second tip here is to double click on the edge of these columns like this. And a more advanced version of this tip is to select whole the columns of the table like this and double click on any of the edges you like. For example, here you can see that whole the numbers are arranged in a way to be placed in the widths of the cells. Another problem for these numbers is alignment. You can see that some items are aligned to the left, some other are aligned into the center, and some other are aligned to the right of the cell. To have a unique manner, unique procedure for alignment, you should again select whole the numbers like this. Again, Ctrl-Shift right and down, and change the alignment for whole the values like this. Now whole the values are aligned in the center. Again, the more advanced version of this tip is to select whole the cells by pointing the corner of the sheet like this, and again selecting the alignment to the center twice for whole the values. And now you're sure that if you write any other item in another point of the worksheet, these are whole aligned in center of the cell. Another problem that you can see here is in column A. Titles of the table in column A are longer than the widths of the column A. And if you want to again use the same tip I told you to increase the widths of the column, yeah, it can be a solution, but in some cases, it's not visually beautiful to see such a wide cell in the left side of the table. And there are many empty spaces here. It's a merged cell, and some spaces are not used here. And the more advanced solution is to wrap text. So the number 4 item is wrapping the text. Instead of increasing the width of the column, you can select here wrap in the alignment section of Home tab. And you can see that the text is now written in more than one row because the width, because the height of the cell is enough to do this. You can also wrap the second item like this. Now you can arrange it in a way to be placed in the center of the height like this. You can also do it for all the values like this. So number 4 was wrapping the text. In some other cases, you may want to save your space. For this case, if the length of the text here is not too much, you can rotate the text. So the number 5 is rotating the text. If you select the cell and then go to the same place in the alignment section of the home, there is an option here for orientation. You can change the orientation as you wish, and these two are most popular ones to change the orientation of the titles, and you can do it for both items that can cause problem for you. Now you can reduce the height because some spaces are now saved. Now we can say that we have used the available space as much as we could. I hope this video is useful for you. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel. See you in other videos.